Hi guys, welcome back to the office. Well, my office. I am currently trying to get my own apartment and save between $2,000 and $4,000. I haven't had my own place in about 2 years. If you saw last week's episode, I made a total of $804 with my reselling income. And this week I had a pretty great week. I made $472.55. So we will get into my sales for the week. I believe it's Monday through Friday. I'm going to be dropping these videos every Friday or every weekend. I really haven't decided yet, but try to be consistent with it at least once a week. I did want to share these pants that I got. I've been really good about not buying things, but I did go to the Salvation Army yesterday, and I found these. I know Banana Republic isn't anything special, but these are a pair of vintage Y2K bootcut pants, and they're a really beautiful, nice denim with like this rough hem. They're low rise. They're so small though. They're like a petite 2, and they even have a paper tag. If I can reach, too short. Paper tag. Super cool pair to find. I haven't seen vintage Banana Republic before. Anyway, I thought that was cool, so thought I would share. I threw those up on eBay last night, or all my Poshmark, Depop, all of them. So anyway, let's get into it. Like I said, we had a pretty great week. Let's see, where did we leave off? Oh, I forgot to mention, I did talk about in my last video about some shoes that I sold. They were Adidas sandals. I sent them to the eBay authentication. They sold for $200. And it was my first time sending something to the authenticator, and it got approved. So that is great news, because I have heard some horror stories. I don't know if you guys were following that Coach bag story. That was crazy. And then I've heard people like getting nicked for like not putting that the shoelaces were worn, just stupid stuff. So I'm very thankful, because that would have been a sucky sale to lose. But all right, so first sale this week was on Poshmark, and it is a William Murray retro polo, and that sold for $16. And then I have a vintage Marisol tank top that sold for $18.52 on eBay. I think I had a pretty average sale. What is that? How do you say that? Between eBay, amount of sales for eBay, Poshmark, and Depop this week. So that's exciting. And then on Poshmark, I sold a packed organic wrap cardigan, and that sold for $21.60. And then I got this Dixon shirt. Sometimes I find myself in Buffalo Exchange, and the other week I was there checking out the local Buffalo Exchange, and I found this New Tags Dixon Weezer button-up shirt, and I think I got it for like something like $25. I ended up making $64 off that. So that was a nice, fun sale. I want to say it sold within like 2 weeks. And then, let's see, Poshmark, I sold a pair of bedhead pajamas, and those sold for $32. And then I got this Littlest Pet Shop 2008 like dog plush, and that sold for $10, and I think I wrote down 5 cents. And then I sold a Smart Wool thermal base layer. That was merino wool on Poshmark, and that sold for $32. And then on Poshmark again, I started listing some children's clothes that I was thinking about taking to Once Upon a Child, but they only pay like $1 average per piece. So I ended up listing the better items that I found, and most of the stuff I've gotten at the bins. The good brands, I ended up listing them, and I've sold a few things already, so that's exciting. So I make way more money than what I would have taken it to Once Upon a Child. So I sold a mini Bowden little retro shift dress, and I made $13.60 on it. And then I sold a Free People like crew neck, slouchy crew neck. I'm always hesitant to get this stuff because I find it everywhere, but it sells. I got this at the bins, and it sold for, where's that? $24 is what I made for it. And then I got another sale on eBay for a kid's Polo Ralph Lauren tank top, and I made $9.40 off that. And then I sold a Sunny Angel. First time finding Sunny Angel at the thrift store. I think I paid $7 for it, and I ended up making $24.82. Alright, and then on eBay, I sold a pair of chubby shorts, and I made $17.84. And then on Depop, I sold a cool quarter zip, and that sold for $21.73. My cool stuff does sell, but it takes a while. It's weird. I don't know. How's cool doing for you guys if you are a reseller? And then I sold a Panasonic vintage massager. Surprised that those sell. I think my partner got it for a couple bucks at an estate sale and gave it to me to list. And we made $32.93 on that sale. And then on Poshmark, I sold another William Golf Performance shirt. I think I posted it about that, but I found like 20 William Murray shirts a while ago at the thrift. It was crazy. And I think I got the majority of them. I left a few behind. But this one sold for $12.60, and I paid $4 for it. And then I sold a pair of postcards that I got when I was in Japan, from the Studio Ghibli Museum. Don't remember what I paid for those, but I sold those for and I made $20.15. It's hard to read my handwriting. And then let's see, we got a Depop sale, and I sold a pair of these Old West trousers, and I made $37.40. And then I always love some bin sales because I pay like $1 to $2 per item. Amazing. I sold another bin item. It's a great crew neck sweater, and I sold that for $28. Or I made it $28. And then the last two ones are some kids' clothes that I sold on Depop. I was a little hesitant to see if I would actually make sales for kids' clothes on Depop, but it's becoming probably an everything place to sell things for, because I know before it was like a younger crowd, but now that eBay's purchased it and the shipping is super cheap right now, and was even free at one point a couple of weeks ago, people are moving over there, I think. So we have a Disney's Alice in Wonderland baby costume, and I made $11.78. And then last but not least, I made I'm getting turned around. And last but not least, I sold a kids box lunch Spirited Away Studio Ghibli outfit for $23.57. Oh, how funny. I just made a sale for a pair of cool shorts right after talking about how my cool stuff hasn't really been selling for me very fast anyway. So I just sold a pair of cool shorts for $19.20 profit. And that makes my total for the first 2 weeks of July $1,295.75 towards my $2,000 to $4,000 goal. Alright, thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you next week. Happy sales!